Welcome coin collectors and history lovers, party popper. A warm welcome to everyone joining us for another exciting journey into the fascinating world of Eisenhower dollar coins. Sparkles today, we are taking a closer look at two remarkable American dollar coins that carry not only monetary history, but also the story of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, American heritage, and the incredible achievements of the Apollo space program. In this collection, we explore the 1971 no-mint mark Eisenhower Dollar, the first year of the Eisenhower Dollar series, along with the 1978 D Eisenhower Dollar, the final year of this iconic series. From the Philadelphia Mint's no-mint mark issue to the Denver Mint's D-mint mark example, each coin has its own story, design details, history, and collector appeal. Look closely at the inscriptions: Liberty, In God We Trust, United States of America, EPLURIBUS UNUM, and $1, and discover the meaning behind the famous eagle, earth, and moon design. Globe Eagle Crescent. These coins are more than pieces of metal. They are small pieces of American history that connect presidential history with the space age. So sit back, enjoy the journey, and examine your own old coins carefully. You never know what interesting variety, beautiful condition, or historical treasure might be hiding in your collection. The 1978 D Eisenhower $1 coin is an important piece of modern United States numismatic history and is the final regular dated issue of the famous large-size Eisenhower Dollar series. The coin carries the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and 1978 on the obverse, while the reverse displays the majestic American eagle above the lunar surface with the inscriptions United States of America, EPLURIBUS UNUM, and $1. The D Mint mark identifies the coin as being struck at the Denver Mint. According to PCGS and NGC references, 33,012,890 examples of the 1978 D Eisenhower Dollar were produced, making it a readily available date in circulated grades, although high-quality uncirculated examples can be considerably more difficult to find. The Eisenhower Dollar was introduced in 1971 as a large United States dollar coin honoring Dwight D. Eisenhower, the former U.S. President and World War II military leader. The obverse portrait was designed by Frank Gasparo, who served as chief engraver of the United States Mint. Eisenhower is shown facing left, with the word Liberty positioned above his portrait and In God We Trust appearing below and in front of his neck. The date is located at the bottom of the obverse, while the Denver D Mint mark appears near the lower right portion of the portrait. Gasparo's initials, FG, can also be found on the truncation of Eisenhower's portrait. The reverse of the 1978 D Eisenhower Dollar is particularly interesting because it connects American history with the achievement of the Apollo space program. The design features an eagle descending toward the surface of the moon while carrying an olive branch, symbolizing peace. The Earth appears in the background, and 13 stars surround the central design. The inscriptions United States of America and $1 frame the reverse, while EPLURIBUS UNUM appears above the eagle. The lunar imagery was selected to commemorate the successful Apollo 11 moon landing and the broader achievements of the American space program. The 1978 D Eisenhower Dollar was a copper-nickel-clad coin, not one of the 40% silver Eisenhower dollars produced for certain collector issues in earlier years. Its outer layers consist of approximately 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper center. The coin weighs approximately 22.68 grams, has a diameter of approximately 38.1 millimeters, and has a reeded edge. These specifications make it a large and heavy coin compared with the smaller dollar coins that followed it. One of the most important facts about the 1978 D issue is that it represents the last year of the Eisenhower Dollar series. The large Eisenhower Dollar was produced from 1971 through 1978, after which the United States moved toward a much smaller dollar coin. The Susan B. Anthony dollar began production in 1978 and entered circulation in 1979, effectively replacing the large Eisenhower dollar as the country's circulating dollar coin. Therefore, a 1978 D Eisenhower dollar can be interesting to collectors, not only because of its design and historical background, but also because it belongs to the final chapter of the original large-size dollar series. Although more than 33 million 1978 D Eisenhower dollars were struck, the condition of an individual coin makes a major difference to its collector appeal. Many Eisenhower dollars were used in places such as casinos and entertainment machines, where the large coins experienced significant contact and wear. NGC notes that gem-quality examples can be difficult to locate, with especially attractive coins often being found in original mint sets. This means that an ordinary circulated 1978 D dollar may have relatively modest collector value, while a sharply struck, lustrous, high-grade example can attract substantially more attention from serious collectors. The D mint mark is therefore an important identifying feature. A 1978 Eisenhower dollar without a mint mark was struck at Philadelphia, while the D indicates Denver production. The Denver issue had a reported mintage of 33,012,890 pieces. PCGS describes the normal 1978 D as a common date in lower grades, but also points out that higher quality examples are much more elusive. Its records indicate an estimated survival of about 32.9 million pieces across all grades, compared with a much smaller estimated number in very high grades. Collectors should pay particular attention to the coin's surface condition, luster, strike quality, contact marks, scratches, tunning, and overall eye appeal. Because these coins are large and heavy, they were especially vulnerable to bag marks and other surface damage. A coin may appear uncirculated at first glance but still have numerous small marks from contact with other coins. A truly attractive mint state example will generally have strong original luster, relatively clean fields, good detail on Eisenhower's portrait and the eagle, and limited distracting marks. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC can authenticate and grade particularly valuable examples. The value of a 1978 D Eisenhower dollar should not automatically be assumed to be thousands of dollars simply because it is old or because it carries the Eisenhower design. Most circulated examples are relatively common. NGC's current guide, updated in 2026, lists circulated examples in a low dollar range, while exceptionally high-grade examples can command much stronger prices. PCGS records also document a $8,750 auction record for an MS-67 example, demonstrating how dramatically value can increase when a coin reaches an exceptional certified grade. This distinction between an ordinary circulated coin and an exceptional mint state coin is extremely important for anyone researching the 1978 D Eisenhower dollar. A worn example with scratches, discoloration, rim damage, or heavy contact marks is generally collected as a historical dollar rather than a major rarity. On the other hand, an exceptionally preserved example with outstanding luster and very few marks may be considerably more desirable. PCGS specifically describes the 1978 D as one of the more difficult Denver Eisenhower dollars to locate in the highest uncirculated grades, with very few examples reaching the finest levels. The coin also has an interesting connection with American history. Dwight D. Eisenhower was one of the most important American military and political figures of the 20th century. He served as Supreme Commander of Allied forces in Europe during World War II and later became the 34th President of the United States. Honoring him on a dollar coin gave the denomination a strong historical connection. At the same time, the reverse's eagle, earth, and moon imagery connected Eisenhower's legacy with the United States' extraordinary achievements in space exploration. The 1978 D Eisenhower Dollar is therefore more than simply a $1 denomination. It represents the end of an era in American coinage. Its large diameter, substantial weight, presidential portrait, Apollo-inspired reverse, copper-nickel composition, Denver mint mark, and final year status make it an appealing coin for collectors of United States dollars. Even though its mintage was substantial, examples with exceptional preservation can still be challenging to find, which is why collectors often examine these coins carefully rather than judging them only by their date and mint mark. For anyone who owns a 1978 D Eisenhower dollar, the best approach is to inspect both sides under good lighting without cleaning or polishing the coin. Cleaning can leave permanent hairlines and reduce collector appeal. Look closely around Eisenhower's portrait, the fields, the date, the D mint mark, the eagle, the moon, and the lettering. Also examine the edge for unusual damage. If the coin appears exceptionally clean and lustrous, professional grading may be worth considering, especially because high-grade 1978 D examples have demonstrated substantially greater collector interest than ordinary circulated pieces. In conclusion, the 1978 D Eisenhower $1 is a historically significant final-year Eisenhower dollar struck at the Denver Mint, with a mintage of 33,012,890. It is a copper-nickel-clad coin weighing about 22.68 grams and measuring about 38.1 millimeters across, with a reeded edge. Its obverse honors President Dwight D. Eisenhower, while its reverse presents the famous eagle and moon design associated with America's space achievements. Although most circulated examples are not rare, high-grade specimens can be much harder to locate and can be considerably more valuable. For collectors, the combination of its final-year status, presidential history, classic American design, Denver mint mark, and potential for exceptional mint state quality makes the 1978 D Eisenhower dollar a fascinating and worthwhile coin to examine and preserve. The next up, top 2, the 1971 Eisenhower $1 coin with no mint mark, is one of the most historically important coins in the modern United States dollar series. It was the first year of the Eisenhower Dollar, a large-size $1 coin introduced by the United States Mint to honor Dwight D. Eisenhower, the 34th President of the United States and one of America's most famous military leaders. The coin features the inscriptions Liberty, In God We Trust, and 1971 on the obverse, while the reverse carries United States of America, EPLURIBUSUNUM, and $1. The absence of a mint mark indicates that the coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which did not place a mint mark on these regular circulating Eisenhower dollars. The 1971 issue is especially interesting because it begins a dollar series that continued through 1978. The obverse of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar features a large portrait of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, facing left. The portrait was designed by Frank Gasparo, who was the chief engraver of the United States Mint. Above Eisenhower's portrait is the word Liberty, while the national motto, In God We Trust, appears in front of the portrait. The date 1971 is positioned along the lower part of the coin. The design gives the coin a strong presidential appearance and makes Eisenhower immediately recognizable. Gasparo's initials, FG, can also be found on the obverse near the bottom portion of Eisenhower's portrait. Because this was the first year of the series, the 1971 obverse became the foundation for the remaining Eisenhower dollar issues. The reverse of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar is equally significant. It shows an American eagle descending toward the surface of the moon while holding an olive branch in its talons. Behind the eagle is the Earth, and a field of stars surrounds the design. The reverse was based on the Apollo 11 mission patch and was designed by Frank Gasparo after an original concept by astronaut Michael Collins. The imagery represents America's achievement in space exploration, particularly the historic Apollo 11 moon landing of 1969. The inscriptions, United States of America, and $1 surround the design, while EPLURIBUSUNUM appears above the eagle. This combination of presidential history and space exploration gives the coin a unique place in American numismatics. The no mint mark on the 1971 Eisenhower dollar is an important identifying characteristic. Modern collectors are accustomed to seeing mint marks such as D for Denver or S for San Francisco, but Philadelphia traditionally produced coins without a mint mark. Therefore, the absence of a mint mark on a normal 1971 Eisenhower dollar does not automatically indicate an error or an extremely rare variety. It normally means that the coin was struck at Philadelphia. Collectors should be careful when evaluating claims that every no-mint mark Eisenhower dollar is rare. The actual value depends on the specific issue, condition, variety, composition, and authentication. The 1971 Philadelphia Eisenhower dollar is particularly interesting because the series included different compositions and collector versions. The regular 1971 Philadelphia issue was a copper-nickel-clad dollar intended for circulation, while special collector versions were produced in a silver-clad composition at San Francisco. This distinction is extremely important because not every 1971 Eisenhower dollar contains silver. A regular 1971 no-mint mark circulation coin should not be assumed to be a silver dollar simply because it is from the first year of the series. Collectors should examine the coin's specifications and, when necessary, have it professionally authenticated rather than relying only on appearance. The regular copper-nickel-clad Eisenhower dollar has a substantial size compared with modern American dollar coins. It measures approximately 38.5 millimeters in diameter and weighs about 22.68 grams, with a reeded edge. The coin consists of a copper-nickel outer layer bonded to copper core. This large size and heavy weight made the Eisenhower dollar very different from the smaller dollar coins that later appeared in the United States. The large format also provides a broad canvas for the presidential portrait and the dramatic Apollo-inspired reverse. The 1971 Eisenhower dollar had a substantial production run, but its historical importance remained strong because it was the first year of the entire series. The Philadelphia issue had a reported mintage of approximately 47,799,000 coins for the regular circulation strike. Because millions were produced, the date itself is not considered an extreme rarity. However, the survival of coins in different grades varies considerably. Many examples were circulated, stored improperly, or exposed to contact with other coins, producing scratches, bag marks, dull surfaces, and other imperfections. Finding an exceptionally preserved example with strong luster and minimal contact marks can be much more challenging than simply finding a 1971 Eisenhower dollar. Condition is therefore one of the most important factors in determining collector interest. A heavily circulated 1971 no-mint mark Eisenhower dollar may show wear on Eisenhower's hair, cheek, jaw, and other high points of the portrait. The reverse eagle and surrounding details may also become less sharp with circulation. A mint state example, however, should retain its original surface quality without obvious signs of circulation. Collectors often examine the fields for contact marks, scratches, spots, discoloration, and abrasions. The overall eye appeal of the coin can be extremely important, particularly at higher grades. Another important consideration is the difference between mintage and rarity. A coin can be old and historically interesting without being rare. The 1971 no-mint mark Eisenhower dollar was produced in large numbers, so the date alone does not make it a guaranteed high-value coin. However, certain high-grade examples and recognized varieties can be much more desirable. This is why serious collectors do not determine the value of an Eisenhower dollar merely by looking at the year. They consider the mint, composition, variety, grade, strike quality, surface preservation, and market demand. The 1971 Eisenhower dollar also represents an important period in American economic and political history. The United States had stopped producing circulating silver dollars after 1935, and the Eisenhower dollar marked the return of a large dollar denomination. Congress authorized the coin in 1970, shortly after Eisenhower's death in 1969. The new dollar was intended both as a tribute to Eisenhower and as a modern circulating coin. Its large size made it visually impressive, but the coin faced practical challenges in everyday commerce because it was much larger and heavier than the smaller denominations Americans were accustomed to carrying. For collectors, the 1971 issue is often considered a key starting point for an Eisenhower dollar collection. Someone assembling the complete series will normally want examples from the different years, mints, compositions, and important varieties. The 1971 no mint mark coin is especially attractive because it represents the beginning of the series. Collectors may compare it with later Philadelphia issues and Denver mint coins to study differences in strike quality, surface appearance, lettering, and overall preservation. If you have a 1971 no mint mark Eisenhower dollar, it is important not to clean or polish it. Cleaning a coin can create scratches and unnatural surfaces that may reduce its numismatic desirability. Instead, hold the coin by its edges and examine it under good lighting. Look carefully at the date, Eisenhower's portrait, the fields, the reverse eagle, the moon, and the lettering. Also inspect the edge for damage. If the coin appears to be in unusually high condition, or you suspect a variety, professional authentication and grading can provide a more reliable assessment. The 1971 Eisenhower dollar also has a fascinating connection to the history of the Apollo space program. The reverse design commemorates one of the greatest achievements in human history, the successful landing of Apollo 11 astronauts on the moon. The eagle carrying an olive branch symbolizes peace, while the Earth and Moon connect the design to space exploration. This makes the coin appealing not only to traditional coin collectors, but also to people interested in American presidents, military history, aerospace history, and the space race. In terms of value, an ordinary circulated 1971 no mint mark Eisenhower dollar should not automatically be described as a rare coin worth thousands of dollars. Its value depends heavily on condition and the exact variety. Common circulated examples can be relatively affordable, while superior mint state coins and recognized varieties can command much stronger prices. Professional grading services such as PCGS and NGC are useful when a coin appears to have exceptional preservation, or when a collector needs confirmation of its variety and grade. One particularly interesting aspect of the 1971 Eisenhower Dollar series is that collectors study different reverse and die characteristics. Some varieties are more desirable than standard examples, and certain 1971 issues are known for differences in the appearance of the earth, lettering, relief, and other design details. Because photographs and casual visual inspection can sometimes be misleading, collectors interested in varieties should compare their coins with trusted numismatic references or seek professional attribution. Overall, the 1971 no mint mark Eisenhower $1 is a fascinating piece of United States coinage. It is the inaugural year of the Eisenhower Dollar series, was struck at Philadelphia, features President Dwight D. Eisenhower on the obverse, and carries an Apollo-inspired eagle design on the reverse. Its large copper-nickel-clad format, historical importance, presidential connection, and association with the space age make it a memorable American coin. Although millions were produced and ordinary circulated examples are not necessarily rare, exceptional condition, special varieties, and strong eye appeal can make individual coins considerably more interesting to collectors. For anyone discovering one of these coins today, the best approach is to preserve it carefully and investigate its exact characteristics before deciding what it may be worth. Check the no mint mark status, composition, weight, diameter, condition, strike, surface quality, and possible variety. A 1971 Eisenhower dollar may not be a fortune simply because of its age, but it is an important first-year American dollar with a remarkable story behind its design. Its combination of President Eisenhower, the American Eagle, the Moon, the Apollo program, and the return of the large dollar denomination makes it a memorable collectible and an excellent representative of American numismatic history.